Welcome to an episode of Ask the Professor brought to you by Trbo Test. This particular series is on the GRE exam brought to you by Trbo Test for prep courses. The questions raised here have to do with word problems on the GRE test. I am Professor Konstantine Onapolous. I have 30 years of teaching experience at university, as well as the last 12 spent as the Associate Dean of the School of Business. The first question brought to us by a student from the GRE is, if the average or arithmetic mean of the 5 distinct positive integers is 10, what is the difference between the largest possible value of the greatest integer and the least possible value of the greatest integer of the 5 integers? The first thing we notice on the GRE is the answer choices here are circles. If we see a circle, we know that only one question answer is correct. If we see a square around these answers, then we know at least 2 or more are correct. In order to answer this question, let's go ahead and ascertain the data that we're actually given in this word problem. The first thing we notice is that we're told that with the average of 5 distinct positive integers is 10. The second thing is that we're looking for the largest possible value of the greatest integer minus the least possible value of the greatest integer. That's the question we're being asked. So let's go ahead and try to solve this. All right, so the average of 5 integers is 10. We're told that to start with. Well, if 5 integers, remember, integers are whole numbers, they're not fractions, they're not decimals. So if the average of 5 numbers equals 10, we can do the simple math, obviously, that it's going to be 50, because 5 times 10 gives us a total of 50. So the 5 numbers, whatever they are going to add up to 50, because when we divide the 50 by 5, it gives us the 10. That is the average it told us. However, we also know very quickly that the largest possible value cannot be 50. It can only be 40. To ascertain that, we simply take the 50, which is the total of 5 times 10 is 50, and we subtract the 4 lowest numbers possible. Well, the 4 lowest numbers possible are 1, 2, 3, and 4. We add those up, it equals 10. So we take the 10 from the 50, that tells us that the greatest number possible is going to be 40. The next thing we're looking for is the least possible value of the greatest. Okay? So in order to do that, we simply take 10 being our mid number, because remember, we still need this to average at 10, but we're trying to find the smallest group of numbers, 5, that will equal 10. So put 10 as your center number, and just put 2 numbers on each side of it, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Well, obviously, if we add these up, they all still come out to the number we're looking for. All right, so 12 is the least possible value of the highest or the greatest integer. So now we are given 40 and 12. We simply subtract the 2. 12 from 40 leaves 28, which means that the answer to our question is 28, or D. The second question here is problem. A car rental company charges a base rate of $30 per day for renting a car. In addition to the base rate, there is a mileage charge of 20 cents per mile driven. Lisa rented a car from this company for 2 days and drove it a total of 150 miles. If she returned the car with a full tank of gas, she paid a total of how much for the rental? All right. Again, we look and we see that the question and answer choices are circles, which means there's only one correct answer here. All right. So let's ascertain the data. Obviously, if you look at this problem, you should be able to do it in your head and almost instantaneously know the answer. But for our sake of this presentation, we'll go ahead and do the math. All right, the base rate is $30 per day. The mileage rate is 20 cents per mile. She rents the car for 2 days. She drives it 150 miles. All right, so we have rental of the car, 2 days. Total distance driven, 150 miles. So now the question is, how much does she pay? What was the cost? So we solve this. The base rate of 30 times 2 is $60. That covers the 2 days. Then we take their mileage at 20 cents a mile times 150 miles is $30. Obviously, we now add the 60 and the 30. It gives us a total of 90, which means that answer E is correct. The final question that was raised for word problems is a company produces boxes of chocolate for sale. The production cost for each of the box is $8. To determine the selling price of each box, the company uses the following formula. Selling price equals production cost times 1 plus markup percentage. If the company wants to have a 30% markup on production costs for each box of chocolate, what should be the selling price of each box? Okay. We look, and of course, we see again the circles around our answer choices. We immediately know that only one of these answers can be correct. So let's ascertain the data they actually gave us. The first thing we know is that the production cost is $8. The markup is 30%. What is the selling price? Let's solve it. $8 times 1.30 equals 1040. So our selling price should be 1040. But let's look at this just a little further from a different angle. If $8 times the 30% markup equals $2.40, remember that's just the markup. So if you did your math and you didn't use the 1 in front of the 30%, you would get $2.40. $2.40. You got to add back in the $8, which would also give you $10.40. It's always easier just to realize that you're multiplying this by 100% and then the additional 30%. So the selling price of this, $10.40. Answer is, of course, C.